Good evening, chaps. Welcome to Dwarf Fortress. So this is a fort I've just started, probably only racked up about 15-20 minutes of playing, haven't really achieved that much. So I've just zoomed right out here so you can see what we're dealing with. If I'm honest, it's not the most thrilling map. What an intro to a video, eh? So we've got a river going down the middle. I really enjoy playing with the river. It's quite useful to have a constant source of water. I know it's likely you'll probably find one deeper down, but I just think it looks quite cool as well. You can do some interesting things with bridges. You can create some moats. You can do all sorts. You can harness it for power later if you want to muck around with mechanisms and such like. So you can see we're embarked in the middle here. As I zoomed the wrong way. So I've gone ahead and cleared a portion of trees around the embark. That's normally a pretty standard start for me. Probably overdone it slightly there. With 7 dwarfs, do we need 200 tons of wood? Possibly not, but it's all good practice. So if we come over here, I've just dug a pretty standard 4-width corridor straight into the side of this region here. So if I just pull up, it's basically just a very small mountain in this corner. So something that's new since I last played is these multi-Z level trees, which I think look pretty good. So it looks like there's some ramps around these ones. Okay, so it's saying they're branches, they're twigs. So I don't know how it works in terms of dwarfs interacting with that. I don't know if they can walk on these or not. That's something to explore. So a bit of background for you guys. I used to be massively into this game back in 40D. I used to play it a heck of a lot. Really, really fun. Such high levels of detail in the game. Really immersive. I think quite a steep learning curve, as everyone says, but really you've got to just crack on and get into it. I played a bit when the first 2000 type game came out. I want to say 2010, but correct me because I could be wrong there. And now, of course, I believe we've got 2014. So this is really my first dip into it. There are a lot of new features which I'm pretty excited to try out. So we've got the multi-level trees, which are just sort of there. Not got any experience with that. There's a host of other things that were added, such as minecarts. I think we've got pubs and stuff like that now. Maybe they're called taverns, I don't know. Obviously being British, love a good pub, so we'll be looking to set one of those up pretty early in the game. So the way I've got this set up, this was quite a quick embark, not a massive amount of detail or forethought really. I wanted to do a playthrough. I'm not gonna record and upload the entire playthrough. This was really just so that I could try and acclimatise myself with the game again, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of me desperately trying to find the right key, as it has been a long time since I played this. So I'm going to upload some videos from this. Anything interesting or funny happens, which I'm sure it will, knowing Dwarf Fortress, and then I'm going to basically show a bit of a highlights of this fortress, maybe show some stuff later in the game if I do get the opportunity to try and work some cool designs or set up some traps and stuff like that. And then really I want to try and start another series after this. I want to put a bit more thought into it and try and get quite a well-designed fort, hopefully show you guys some pretty cool stuff. I've got a few ideas and I want to see if I can make them work. And then I've got plans to set up another series, which I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to call it yet, but I just want to have a series of videos dedicated to just showing little technical details of maybe how I've set up a trap or designed a particular room, or how, for example, how I've set up a military squad and their training or something like that. So it'll just be little focused bits of information, because I think little details like that are what makes Dwarf Fortress so good. So I really want to take the time to show you guys that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, both fingers crossed here, hopefully I can do it justice. As I say, I did used to play this game a lot, but I'm going to be pretty rusty, so this first playthrough, I'm going to apologise in advance. And if you do see anything where you think, what on earth is he doing? I know how frustrating that can be, but please feel free to point out to me in the comments. So going back to the fort here, I say fort, it's basically a hole in the side of a hill at the moment, but we'll look past that. So we've got the embark here, the little wagon, and I haven't even removed that yet, so there we go, just done that now. Obviously you start with 7 dwarfs. There you see population 7, we've got a miner, 2 woodworkers, a stoneworker, a couple of peasants, a farmer and a couple of animals. So I just used a pretty standard embark on this. In fact, I'm not sure I customised it at all. I will be setting up Dwarf Therapist. I think that's a really useful tool, so at some point I'll just briefly talk through how I set that up, because I have a way that I normally set up all the professions, and it seems to work fairly well. I think it scales quite well once you get to a bigger fortress, but it'd be good to hear your guys' thoughts on that as well. As you can see, we've got very vague estimates for the amount of food we've got in stock, so we'll need to start assigning dwarves to some of the roles, such as Record Keeper. And I've said that and I immediately don't think it's called Record Keeper. Something else I need to relook up. And then coming into the actual fort itself. So all we've really got at the moment is this basic corridor. I've got the refuse pile set up outside, pretty standard. And then we've just got carpenters, masons, and then that will be a basic dormitory set up with 2 beds for the dwarfs to sleep in. It's a communal area right next to the workshops, which is pretty poor, to be honest, so they're gonna struggle with the noise, I'd imagine. I've got another storage to set up here, which will be the wood, so I'll go ahead and do that quickly now. And I have just set that as an animal one, so we'll try that again. So that's wood. I am a bit rusty on the keyboard shortcuts, guys, and what I've noticed is I tend to just press one and assume it's correct, because I feel like I still know what I'm doing, when in actual fact I've just put an animal stockpile there, so I clearly don't know what I'm doing, but we got there in the end. So then down here we've got the pretty basic farm setup, so it's the classic massive plot of plump helmets, associated storage, and then a communal dining area there. See the stairs going down there? Not really anything to show you if we go down one, guys. You can see the river. There's a few different dry areas around it. Nothing too much there. Nothing too much over here either. So that's it really. That's going to be my first check-in. I just wanted to give you a bit of an overview. I am hoping to make quite a lot of Dwarf Fortress videos. This first playthrough, as I say, is going to be a bit rough, so please forgive me for that, but by all means do point out my many myriads of mistakes, and I'd love to hear from you guys, any suggestions, any feedback on stuff I've done in the fort. Always trying to make my forts a bit better. If there's better ways I can be doing things, then, you know, shout. And then I want to try and play this series through. As I say, I'm just going to show bits and bobs, maybe some interesting things as it progresses, and it's really just to try and get myself back into the game, because I know I'm going to be pretty rusty. And then hopefully I want to start a new series after that with some pretty cool design ideas. I want to put a bit of thought into how I'm going to plan that, and hopefully can show you some stuff that will be quite interesting. So I'm looking forward to doing that. And then, as I said, I want to start putting out some videos focused more around the technical side of things. Maybe dig into some real details of some traps that I'm going to set up. So I don't know if you guys have looked at my channel, but I've got a flood trap video from some time ago. It's heavily pixelated. I don't even know how I recorded that, to be honest, and it's got text at the bottom of it vaguely describing what's going on. It's basically a room that gets filled up with pumped water to drown a set of goblin invaders, and then a number of bridges retract to let the water drop down into what I call an evaporation chamber. It's basically a large cave below. So once water gets down to depth of 1, it evaporates in this game. So that's what that was. So I want to try and work on stuff like that, hopefully a bit more complicated, a bit more fun. I'm sure there'll be a lot of chaos and disasters further down the road, which of course is one of the best parts of the game in my opinion. So that's just an overview. Would be good to hear back from any of you guys, any questions, any suggestions for stuff going forward, and I'll just start playing through the fort. I'm really looking forward to getting back into the new version of Dwarf Fortress. I want to see what's changed, see what's new, and of course wait for the hilarity to ensue when we start getting sieges and other things. I used to really love it just when the little kobold thieves turned up. I used to play absolute havoc chasing them around the fort. So maybe we'll have to look at getting some watchdogs or cats or something set up near the entrance. I don't know, that's for another time. So that's it for now. I know I talk very quickly, I've been rambling on for ages. So that's it. Cheers guys.